This show is for entertainment purposes only. Do not mistake this show for medical advice. If you or anyone you know is in need of a dentist, please contact 480-391-0099 to set up an appointment.
Welcome to our podcast. Sit back and relax. Dental Works Podcast. We're gonna share some facts. We gonna raise your dental IQ at the Dental Works Podcast. We will guide you. Put out some bad jokes before we are through. Free information here just for you. Sit back and have a good time.
Today is March 1st, and this is episode number 112 of the Dental Works Podcast, the show about learning the ins and outs of dentistry from a patient's perspective. I'm Ted Work, and that over there is Dr. Terry Work.
Hello.
Dental Works is a family dental practice based in Scottsdale, Arizona that has been providing cosmetic and surgical dentistry for over 27 and a half years. We've had a long day.
Yes.
Terry can tell you's had a long day.
Brand new video setup we're very excited about.
Yes, we got the brand new video setup.
We're stepping it up, people. We say that like every episode.
Every episode it's a little bit better, so it's true every time.
Yeah. Place but up.
We got the brand new video. Hopefully it looks better. If not,
Tough.
We're playing it up this hard.
Switch another something.
Yeah.
Spend another dollar.
For sure. So what have you been up to, Terry? I know we've kind of been halfway through February is when we recorded the last episode.
Right. So it's March. We got Saint Patrick's Day.
Can you tell it's March?
Saint Patrick's Day. I don't know. That sounds more...
That was more Scottish.
Yeah. Anyway, beginning of March. Looking forward to it. Taking a trip to South Padre Island down in the Gulf of Mexico tomorrow.
South Padre
Island.
Where is that in the Mexico Sea?
It's in the Gulf of Mexico, right on the tip of Texas. I've never been there, so that's why we're going. And we picked a terrible time to go because it's going to be storming and crazy. And
wow.
Just working hard, fixing dental stuff.
Yeah, fixing dental
stuff. That's kind of what we do.
That sounds about right.
Very technical. So
you going to do some fishing?
No, I'm going with your mom. So this is not a fun trip.
So it's gotcha. So no fish will be involved.
There's not going to be any joy in this trip because your mom is there.
Right. Well, that's maybe a little harsh. But
I'm kidding. We're going with Al and Greg.
Oh, great.
Yeah, Greg. You do podcasts for Greg. Greg Essenmacher. Check out Tooth Sleuth.
The Tooth Sleuth podcast.
Yeah,
yes, we're going to be starting recording up here in March.
Yeah. So we're going on a trip with them, going to hang out. It's awesome. But we're just really busy at the office, and so it's great.
Yeah, is it unseasonably busy? Or
No. I mean, it's just we're busy. Well, we had an interesting case this morning. So a gentleman had a bunch of veneers done in Colombia. And they were nice veneers, but two of them came off, and he went to a dentist. I won't say where, but he went to a dentist in town, and the guy cemented him back on crooked.
He got like
one sticks out, looks like a
he flipped one of them. One of them was backwards
on the wrong teeth. Two came off.
Yeah.
No, but like almost. Anyway, so now they're cemented on, and I have to try to get them off without breaking them and re-cement them. So.
And I think we talked about this last time. Once that sucker's on there,
well, that's the thing.
It's hard to get them off.
You can't just pop them off. They're bonded on. They're chemically adhered.
It's almost like that was what it was. They're trying to do.
Well,
and permanently keep them on.
Part of the. I mean, again, everybody thinks a tooth is, or I mean, a crown is a crown.
Everybody thinks this. Get ready.
Everybody thinks a crown is a crown is a crown, and that's just not the case. We're very picky here, and so we're going to see him in the morning to get him squared away right before I leave town.
Right before you leave town.
Try to send him back. I'm going to try to get him off, and then we're going to see. I told him, I said, listen, dude, Okay, best case scenario, I pop them off, clean them up, cement them on. Worst case scenario, which is probably what's going to happen, I'm going to break them when I'm trying to take them off.
Classic.
And then we're going to have to charge you to make new veneers. So it is.
That'll
what it
happen,
is.
you know.
Yeah,
sometimes
it's like, you know, you want to plan for the worst, hope for the best. Man, I almost got that.
Is that
wrong.
how
It's been
that,
a long
is that
time.
how that epithet goes?
Yeah,
Epithet?
it's like over promise.
Failing to plan is planning to fail.
Under promise, over deliver. That's
Yeah.
another one. So
A
anyway.
penny saved
Oh, shut up. Okay, Benjamin Franklin.
is a. I thought you were going to say Benjamin Button, but that's just
Benjamin Button.
Well, that I feel like that kind of nicely segues into our main topic today, in that you should do things right the first time,
Well.
instead of getting things going the back door route.
Well
trying to get around. Hey, you know what? Let me spin a yarn over here.
Apparently so. That's
No,
like,
we're going to be talking about
this is a fluff piece.
we're going to be talking about okay. So here we are going to be talking about a medical device, a dental medical
We're
device.
gonna start
that
off
is
with that first?
unregistered or unlicensed, unreviewed, unregulated, devices.
Well, I mean, it speaks
Right.
to a segment that we've already kind of talked about, and that is, lack of regulation in certain aspects of medicine and dentistry
Right.
can cause a problem, and it's basically the old snake oil thing.
Yeah.
You know, somebody will identify a problem, come up with a solution that's way easier than all of the other accepted, methods, and
Yeah.
then market it. And sometimes they turn out to be bullshit.
Yeah.
Which is the problem here, is that, I'll let you kind of segue into the actual topic.
Into the main segment. So we're going to be talking about I found an article in CBS online news that talked about this unregistered, it talked about an unregistered dental appliance known as the AGGA, if I'm correct. And it is this, it's this device that clamps on to the upper molars and the teeth behind the canines, and it pushes against the teeth, like the tops of the roots up above. And I'm going to let you kind of talk about what kind of damage something like this is able to cause to somebody's mouth. But it's something that, like we were talking about before, kind of like a snake oil thing. It's this guy developed this device to try and cure facial ugliness.
Well,
I think is the correct.
No, so here's kind of the way the whole thing came about. And correct me if I'm wrong. You saw there was an ABC News.
It was CBS.
Cast, or CBS News.
It's an article, yeah.
Very similar to the AZ family thing that Chris Pickle did on failing dental implants, and the lack of there was a lack of reported dental implant failures.
Yeah.
And so she did an investigative report on that, and it was very interesting. She also did a similar one on failing breast implants, and how some physicians or some plastic surgeons, all they do is remove breast implants and reconstruction. Anyway, we're getting off topic. But CBS did a report, and it's called the AGG appliance. It's an anterior growth guidance appliance. And what it was is this dentist, and I'm not going to say his name or whatever, but you can look it up if you want to.
CBS News. It came out today, March 1st.
Yeah, so it's very, very timely. But basically, people were having issues with sleep apnea and TMJ problems and all this kind of stuff. And really, the best cure for this kind of thing is a surgical procedure where they reposition either your upper or your lower, or both upper and lower jaw. And the procedure's fairly involved. And so anyway...
But what if I don't want to have a surgery?
Exactly. This dentist came up with something that he says will work, and it just ends up kind of being bullshit. It's just
Wow, I'm really breaking out the beeper.
It's talking. It's talking. He talks about expanding the palate, and the problem is, in smaller children, you can put a palatal expander, which actually, because they're still growing, you can expand the palate via the suture in the roof of their mouth, and you have this palatal expander. So what he tried to do was use that same idea on fully grown adults.
Right.
And all it does, instead of widening your palate, all it does is just push your teeth outside the bone.
Less hand movements.
And so what ends up happening is, and there's an article about a clarinet player, and he teaches these classes that utilize this appliance. And anyway, there's a class action lawsuit, or there's a lawsuit against.
There's a few of them, if I remember correctly, but it's this idea that it's an appliance that, in the inventor's opinion, is a certain type of appliance that is not within the FDA's regulations or whatever.
Well,
and so it's kind of been skirting underneath the regulation.
Well, tooth movement is a widely accepted procedure in dentistry.
Yeah.
And basically the claims he's making are they just don't really make a lot of sense. And all the things
someone who
he's
knows what they're talking
and so
about.
they interview a bunch of other specialists that say this just doesn't do what it's touted to do.
Yeah.
And he goes around and sells these classes to dentists, and now he's being investigated, and I think there's some lawsuits against it. So, basically, unfortunately, a lot of medicine falls under the buyer beware, but people will get desperate, and they're like, well, if I can avoid that surgery and this helps. And what ends up happening a lot of times, you're much, much worse off than if you hadn't done anything. And that's true with some of these patients. They ended up losing a bunch of teeth. And it's just so important. And I don't care if you come to me and I tell you something and you're like, well, maybe I want a second opinion. I always recommend a patient feel good about treatment, because if they get committed to the treatment, then the treatment always goes better. So go out and get a second opinion. Go out and or ask as many questions as you need to. Like that, we were talking about this patient came in today that had gotten those veneers re-cemented. I don't know if we talked about that but a patient came in to me this morning. He had 2 veneers pop off. He went to another office, they cemented them on, and they were crooked, and they didn't fit, and all this stuff. And so his question is, can you fix this? Well, I can redo them. I can try to get them off, try to fix them. And so one of the things my front office did is said, hey, this is a case Dr. Work did, very similar to yours, and this is how it turned out. If you think this looks good, this is the kind of work we do. So that's what you want. You want the healthcare provider to show you kind of what they have done, or explain it to your satisfaction. If it's not to your satisfaction, then just keep looking. And we get this a lot where, and lawsuits against dentists where the dentist would overpromise and underdeliver.
Yeah.
Or, be very aware if you go someplace and they tell you something like, oh, I'm going to do $30,000 worth of dentistry for only $10,000, Or if they're like, well, the normal cost for this is whatever, $20,000, but I'll do it for $7,000. Well, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is.
Yeah.
But people get desperate, and people, work hard for their money. And so they want to get a good value. And in my opinion, a good value is something that's done correctly the first time, so it lasts for a really long time. And, you want an office that, will take care of your emergencies and that kind of stuff.
It's so funny this came up, but this is actually like an economic principle. It's called the Boots theory of economics, of purchasing things. The leather boots theory, and it's based on this series of books that I like to read. It's Discworld. It's like a comedy fantasy series, and one of the guys, he's a guard in a fantasy world, and he's talking about how if you buy $10 boots, then they'll only last one winter. But if you spend up and get $50 boots, they'll last your whole life. But who has $50? And so it's like this idea that like poor people actually have to spend more money on things.
Well, and there's
than wealthy people do.
Well, and there's also, the unfortunate thing where a dollar store is actually more expensive than because they split things up and
sure.
You end up,
for some things, for sure.
For some things. So, and it can, price gouging for people who are maybe a little bit less informed or don't have the resources.
Well, think about it. When if you buy a 6-pack as opposed to a 24-pack per soda, if you spend,
I was thinking beer immediately.
If you spend whatever, if you spend more money, then it is cheaper per thing, right?
Obviously.
So it's the buying in bulk and the being able to store things. And
the old saying, what is it?
We got off on a tangent here, but
what is the saying?
Oh man, we're gonna try and do another epithet.
No,
we're gonna do this. Is this the episode where we just do these?
Never mind. I stand corrected.
All right. Well,
Ted's running the Britain show.
So
no,
it's a horrifying thing, and there's people who take advantage of people who don't know any better, and that's why we have these regulatory systems. And
they fall painfully short. And again, I'm not going to, without getting into current events or whatever, everything ends up being political to a certain degree. And unfortunately, buyer needs to beware on whether, and I don't care what it is, whether you don't agree with vaccinations or whether you don't agree with certain remedies for doing whatever. It really is, try to do your research, but watch where you get your information from. It's almost like, God, how do you trust what you're reading or what you're hearing? Or
what the great thing about science is that it doesn't care what you believe; it is just true.
Well,
because science is the process of distilling.
I'm not talking about
knowledge. From the world,
I'm not talking about
I'm just saying
truths.
Like,
I'm talking about how facts can be manipulated to tell the story you want to tell. And people sometimes people don't have the ability to sift through you know what I'm saying? So
no, for sure. And it's hard. And like some people don't understand what facts are. And some people might have a warped sense of I don't want to get judgmental, but some people believe things that are very interesting to me, and that might color how they take dental information. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, that's true with everything.
And so like, there's a spectrum of people, and on what end of believability of this kind of device, like, what is credible to the masses?
Again, people will see someone in a white coat and they'll be like, well, what he's telling me, he's got the education, he's got this, and a little nugget of truth, if you are good at selling it one tiny piece at a time, when you look at the end result compared to where you started, they're nowhere near each other. But because you incrementally got there, I mean, it's just kind of the snake oil.
Good con men.
Right. Con men. And so basically just buyer beware, unfortunately. And, one good thing you can do is you can always call the Arizona State Dental Board or the State Dental Board in your state and ask if the person that you're going to has a lot of complaints against them, or just do a little bit of your own research and find out if what they're telling you is indeed true. I mean, because regardless of how good someone is at explaining something or how gifted they are at providing a service, medicine, sometimes you can do everything right and have a bad result, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But you try to minimize
percentage of risk to every procedure.
You try to minimize that, and you try, as a clinician, I try to have a backup plan or a plan B to kind of help people, not end up in a situation where they're really dire. So, anyway.
The article that this episode is based on, I'm going to link it in the show notes.
Perfect.
It's a great article. Read it. It's kind of long. Took me a second, but it's good.
You're a slow reader, are you?
I am a very slow reader. I tried to start reading an 800-page book. It's not going well.
Not going well.
What
font size?
Also got
That's your
video
problem.
games going. But
That's your problem. Yeah.
Anyway,
font size. Pick big font size.
We're gonna move on to the next part of our show, which is our favorite part of the show: Celebrity Smiles.
Woo!
Celebrity Smiles. No specific topic. You need some help there?
No.
You got it? No specific theme for these people?
Theme was the term you were looking for.
I typed into Google. Oh, somebody's texted me.
So I have a question. Have you been watching the murder trial?
No.
Fascinating.
No, but I did see that there's a documentary about their thing on Netflix.
Oh my God.
That just happened.
And that's a timestamp for this episode. The Murdaugh.
Oh, yeah.
The guy supposedly shot. Anyway, he's going to get off.
All right, here we go.
Celebrity Smiles.
Random people edition.
Is that what I'm Googling?
I found a thing that just gives me random celebrities. I'm going to use it every episode now.
Perfect.
I have such
Let's
a hard
go.
time finding people. First person is Brendan Fraser. We haven't done Brendan Fraser yet.
That's not that guy's in the frickin'.
Well, no, I know. It just that came up. So it gives me like 8 of them at a time. And so I choose.
Have you gone and seen The Whale?
No, I haven't, but I've seen clips. Man, it's rough. I don't know if I want to see it from the clips that I've seen.
You do.
No, I mean, it looks great.
So here's the problem.
Are they old photos?
Oh.
I remember. Oh, never mind. I'm remembering something from a different thing from before.
Oh God, what?
Yeah, I was trying.
So Brendan Fraser's got pretty nice teeth. He did not age well, unfortunately.
Hey, you know what? Yeah, dude. Hey, you know what? He's the whale, man. We need him in a.
You can't say
another
that.
mummy.
You can't say that. So here's the thing:
mummy movie.
You can always kind of tell when somebody's self-conscious about their teeth, because look, when he was young, he would smile like that.
Yeah.
And now that he's a little older, whenever he smiles. He's a little self-conscious about his teeth. So
hey, you know what? He's
which is fine.
Making a comeback. He's making his comeback.
He really
now.
is, but not a lot
best
of
for Brendan Fraser. He's
toothy
great.
smiles. You got to catch somebody laughing. So I think what happens. Part of the problem is the current photographs are of him when he was not studying, but when he was in the movie The Whale, and he's a little bit heavier. He's lost weight. So,
sure.
But he's got. I can't see any pictures of his teeth in the last.
What about
20
Encino
years.
Man?
Encino Man's a good movie.
What about?
I'm going to give his smile. He's got a good smile, pleasant smile. I'm going to give him a 7.
That is not a good movie.
Encino Man is. It won a couple of Academy Awards. It won a couple of.
Pauly Shore is a terrible person.
The Weasel.
You know what?
All right. He's a 7. Brendan Fraser.
7 to Brendan Fraser. All right. Is it Fraser or Fraser? I think there was like a joke about that. He was in a movie with an animated monkey. Do you remember that?
Vaguely. Let's move on. What's the next one?
All right. The next person, random celebrity generator. This person goes by the name of Mila Kunis. What's Mila Kunis in? Off the top of your head.
70s.
That 70s show. That was her first thing. She was 14 in that. She lied to the casting director to get into it. Did you know that?
She's married to Brendan Fraser. She's married to Pauly Shore.
Mr. Punked himself.
She's married to
You'll get there. You'll get there. Take
Ashton.
it. Do it.
Ashton Kutcher.
Ashton Ketchup.
Oh my God, she is cute. God, she is cute.
Yeah, what do her teeth look like? Have you seen that clip of her on
Okay, so
Jimmy Kimmel?
Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
She
is. Oh, she's really cute. I'm going to give.
I don't
her
think she's
teeth.
In that. I think.
Yeah, she is. She's the Hawaiian chick. She's the love
right.
interest.
No, you're right.
Yeah,
you're right.
Her teeth are a 9.
Her teeth are a 9. Wow, a 9?
Because they look. Kunis? Yeah, they look very natural, and she didn't.
She used to play lots of video games. She used to play World of Warcraft.
Yeah,
did you know that?
I did know that. Mila Kunis, a 9.
That's cool.
Okay.
All right, Mila Kunis a 9. And for the last person of celebrity side, we're powering through these, dude.
Good
You're
Lord.
going a little too fast.
Wait,
We need to get some more. Yeah, we need, Mila Kunis was in Black Swan.
Didn't see that movie. Don't
It's
care.
forgettable. Anyway, moving on to the final person. This person's name is One.
Juan?
No,
Juan?
no, it is One. Edward Norton. Original Bruce Banner himself.
Oh, that movie was so bad. Was that the very first one that was so bad?
Yeah,
so,
and he speaks Spanish, and he's like, "You're making me
hungry.
Hungry."
No,
that's
was the
pretty
second
funny.
one.
That was a pretty good.
So his teeth are pretty good. You know that he's independently wealthy.
Did you know
he comes from
I've heard
tons
he's
of
kind
money.
of an asshole.
Well, he comes from. I have heard both of those things. He comes from tons of money. I heard.
Oh yeah,
I think so.
no. Well,
Edward Norton.
he's an all right actor.
He's
pretty
got kind of a small, facey kind of thing.
He's got a small facey.
He's got a small face and a weird something.
You weird small faced man. What are you giving his teeth? What do you got? What are you giving him?
6.
He looks like skinny Chandler Bing. What is that? What am I looking at? Why are you showing me this?
Chandler Bing. His teeth are a 6.
A 6.
He's a class 2 div too. I'm almost sure. No, maybe just a regular class 2.
All right, we're giving him a 6.
Okay.
Is there anything else that we want to say about unregulated dental appliances before we say goodbye?
Okay, so this falls under. We talk about TMJ issues or TMD, temporomandibular joint dysfunction, and I saw that thing and we talked about it. The jaw sizer, where you have a rubber ball and you. When I see those commercials and they're like, "Oh, you want to get your facial muscles stronger,"
a 4-pack on their cheeks.
I mean, talk about that's like just smashing your knees with a ball peen hammer. Why would you do that? I mean, it's like a bumblebee. Every bumblebee has 2 billion
I'm so
wing
sorry.
flaps.
Did you just say bumblebee?
Bumblebee.
I'm so sorry. Did you say bumblebee?
It's library and bumblebee. And breakfast.
And with that, we're going to say thank you for listening to the Dental.
Thank you.
We're going to say thank you for listening to the Dental Works podcast. If you'd like to support the show, please give us a rating on iTunes or your podcast player of choice. If you'd like to get in contact with the show or you have questions, please send an email to dentalworkspodcast@gmail.com. We may talk about your question on the show. There's no guarantees. If you're located in the Phoenix area and need dental work, please give us a call at 480-391-0099. We'll see you guys in the next episode. We're hoping the video quality turned out better.
Take care. Oh, this is going to look good. It's going to look good.
All right.
And on the next episode, when I see how good the quality is on the camera, I'm going to have a whole bunch of plastic surgery done.
Yeah.
I'm going to look just like Mickey Rourke.
Come in with just...
Oh, my God. Have you seen Mickey Rourke lately? Oh, my God. I saw a video of him.
Didn't we
Freak
talk about
show.
Madonna a little bit
Freak
already?
show. No,
let's not criticize people. They don't need to
Mickey Rourke?
We don't need to. He's doing fine. He's doing him. He's doing his thing. He was a wrestler. Is that true?
He was in
That's
The
just a
Wrestler.
movie. All right, we got to end the show. This podcast was produced by T-Door Productions. Theme song written and recorded by Neil Hathaway. Vocals by Terry Work. Sound effects provided by freesfx.com and zapsplat.com.